Welcome back to Coach's Corner this week. We're going to mix in a little winter sports wrap-up with looking at Dwight Winburn, our girls basketball coach and athletic director, is our guest now in this segment of our show. And I guess a good place to start would be with girls basketball. Wrapped up the season with the regional basketball playoffs 2 weeks ago, and some thoughts on this year's season, this year's team, and some of the accomplishments these girls had this year.
Well, you know, we finished up the season, I thought, in real good fashion. The last 4 games, I thought we played well. In fact, I feel better about this season because of those games. If we'd have just not played any of those teams very well, I'd be pretty disappointed today. But we came in and made 2 runs at 2 really good basketball teams, Enid and Lawton Eisenhower, and almost beat both of them in overtime and 5 overtime games. So, to me, we improved immensely from where we were at when we played them earlier this season.
Should be noted that the team that beat you in the playoffs, Sapulpa, raced through their way, and they'll be in the state 6A girls tournament. So, you really, when you get to the playoffs, if your record is not a good enough record, you're gonna see those top flight teams, and that is what happened to your girls' team this year.
7, I was looking this morning, 7 of our losses were to teams that are in the state tournament. 1 or 2 of them could be state champions. Shawnee could be a state champion. Who knows? Sapulpa might win it. You know, it's hard to say. I don't think they can beat Santa Fe, but you never know on any given night what can happen. And then another team that ended up in area finals was Idabel in Class 4A. I knew they were good when they beat us in Ada. So when you look at who we played and how much we progressed throughout the season, I still feel good about us.
Yeah, don't lose a lot of players. 3 seniors on this year's team. I know that you're working right now to get them ready for next season. A lot of preparation. I know it seems like a long ways away, but that first practice in the fall will be here before we know it. So this is a lot of people think this is when you win ball games too.
It is. This is when the season is made. Not in November and December and January, but now. And I'm excited about next year. I think we've got some really good young kids coming. Plus, we've got some starters returning, 3 of them there. That's going to help us next season and give us that boost that we need. And then these young kids, again, I'm very excited about what they can do for us and the possibilities that it presents. We're going to work hard. We start today. This is the first day back. I'm excited with what I've got. I've got 9 kids in the off season, and the rest of them are either running track or playing tennis or golfing or playing soccer. So we know they're busy and they're competing, and that's good too. We want our athletes to compete, and I'm not sure that competition is the most important thing at this time.
Normally, Dwight Winburn could devote all of his time to basketball this time of year, but it was about this time a year ago that Ponca City went on a search for an athletic director, and he was right there in our own backyard. Coach, you've been athletic director for, it's hard to believe, but it's about a year now. And so not only do you work in the off-season basketball, but you have a great deal of interest in our spring sports, which are up and running, and there's a lot of activity over at the high school.
There is, and just to be honest with you and everyone else, it's a lot more demanding than what I expected. It's kind of a young man's game, so it's taken a little bit of a toll on me. But you know, if you can influence kids to be the best that they can be, and you can influence young coaches to coach as hard as they can and to have some input on what a kid's going to be in their life, I think it's worth it all. So it's been enjoyable. It's been difficult, but I'm excited about our spring sports. Soccer girls won the other night. We're excited about them. Our baseball team's in full swing right now, and we think by the end of the season that's going to be a really nice baseball team. And of course, our track guys are still waiting to go compete on a invitational level, but we think our track program is going to be decent this year and be able to compete.
See, sports enthusiasts would think you've got the best job in the whole deal, because when the weather's beautiful outside, instead of going to your office, you can go watch a baseball game or a little tennis or a little golf. And I know you try to make the rounds. You try to get to all of it you can, too.
We've got, I was going to say softball. We don't have softball coming. We got golf and tennis coming, and we'll have some invitationals. That'll give me a chance to go and watch these kids perform. A lot of them I don't know. Right. Because they haven't been involved in my sports or in my classroom when I was teaching. But it's a good opportunity for me to go out and see them and cheer them on and encourage them.
Yeah. Look for players too. So
absolutely,
you know, if your daughter plays golf or runs track or maybe plays soccer, Coach Winburn may be doing some recruiting. But it is important that people realize that when they go to those events, just like football and basketball and wrestling, which are sports which, from an economic standpoint, support a lot of the other programs, it's really important that people support those programs, not only from the support of the student athletes, but also the money as well.
That's correct. It takes no question about it. It takes funds to operate, and the more people support by being in attendance at those games, it does two things. One, it does support us financially, which we have to have, because those gates is how we operate. Without that gate, it's difficult to supply our budgets that those coaches need. And then the second thing is the great support it provides for our young athletes. And, you know, they're going to play better when people are there and they know people are cheering for them. And that's been an emphasis this year, is to try to get more support to our programs.
Let me ask you something, because we're in a time which is still busy, but it's not as busy because you don't have to worry about a week-to-week and day-to-day game situation. And it's a question about our facilities. Are any of our programs, any of our facilities do some direct work coming up this summer, Coach?
There's quite a bit getting ready to happen. In fact, we're going to re-turf the football field. This is the 8th season that the turf has been in existence, and so it's time for change. So probably starting June 2nd, June 3rd, that turf's going to be gone, and bringing in new turf. And I've seen the schematics on all of it, and it's beautiful. I think our community will be very impressed with what you're going to see on the field come August and September.
Well, I know that's a very big and expensive undertaking, but certainly worthwhile when you consider all the student athletes that use it, as well as the band and the cheerleaders and all that. It gets a lot of use this time of year. Of course, the soccer team's on there. Anyway, Coach, thanks for a great basketball season as always. I thoroughly enjoyed it, and since you're the athletic director, I'll get to see you a lot this coming spring as well.
Yeah, tonight, in fact,
Absolutely.
or tomorrow night, I guess
yeah.
it is. Yeah.
Coach, thanks. Dwight Winburn, girls basketball coach and our athletic director, on this week's edition of Coach's Corner.